Hi, I'm Beth Harold, founder and CEO of Outside the Box Creation. Welcome to our fourth video for parents and kids who are cooped up because of COVID-19. We're going to do a super fun STEAM lesson today. And the book that I'm going to start out with is called No One Saw: Ordinary Things Through the Eyes of an Artist. If you don't have this book, any book that has illustrations that the kids have to look very intently at would work. An I Spy book would be great also. I like to start out reading with kids before we do art to set a context for it, but you totally don't have to do that if you don't want to. The idea is that artists, scientists, and writers all have to use their powers of observation. And if we can get kids to start really noticing things, it will take them so far in the world. So what we're going to do is gather a bunch of things from your house or from your backyard that you and the kids find interesting. Here you can see some of the items that we've collected around the house and from a walk on the beach. This spiral shell, a sand dollar. Fun fact on the sand dollar, did you know that sand dollars always have this flower shape on top, but it's never right in the center? This house plant, you see the little tendrils coming off the leaves? We thought it was pretty interesting. This is a piece of coral from vacation somewhere. And if your child isn't a huge nature buff, maybe you find some things like a part of an old motherboard, part of an old computer. This is an outlet for phones that was taken out of the wall. Or maybe it's a really interesting kitchen tool, like this tea strainer or a corkscrew. Have your kids decide which object they find really interesting. And then the idea is that we'll first put on our writer or poet hat and brainstorm words that writers or poets would use to describe the object. So if we're talking about that spiral shell, we might say that it's enormous, it's remarkable. And then you could have your kids write a brief description or a poem. And then take off their poet hat and put on their scientist hat and talk about what types of words scientists use to describe things and how they observe things. You might even read something about Darwin and his travels and how he observed all sorts of different species. So for this shell, you might think about what lived in the shell. It was a sea snail, a gastropod. You might also ask, is it rough? Is it smooth? That type of thing. And then have them write a description like a scientist would. And then have your child take off his or her scientist hat and become an artist and draw the object. This can be done with watercolors, oil pastels, regular soft pastels, colored pencils, crayons, anything you have around the house. The tough thing about drawing is that we often try to draw things as we think we see them, not as we really see them. This is really where the powers of observation become really critical. So this is a spiral shell, but is the outside really totally round? Or is it kind of a free form, not exactly round? You might ask them what colors they see. Yes, it's kind of a beige color here. But look, you can see brown, you can see a bluish, purplish in these different areas. Things are rarely only one color. Where are the light spots and where are the dark spots? You're gonna have a shadow down here underneath. You'll probably have your lightest spot somewhere up on the top, maybe over here. This looks kind of light. So have them do their best drawing it, and then display their artwork and their writings. And you can do this as many times as you want with different objects. Hope you enjoy.